We are live. Good afternoon, everybody from around the world. Spurs fans, close and far. What an amazing first game of the season. But we've got here an absolutely powerhouse panel. So first and foremost, I just want to welcome Darius. Darius, welcome. And Jodi, welcome. Do you know what? I think we just need to just get straight into this. Let's not waste time. Jodi, just let it rip, to be honest. You just need to let it rip because, yeah. I think we just need to do this justice.
100% Kulu. What a man. Definitely man of the match from my point of view. What a player. I put him in my fantasy team. I know I always talk about my fantasy team, but I've been let down this weekend and he has risen to the occasion for me. So thank you so much, Deji. Match was amazing. Like couldn't have asked for a better start to the season, I think. From my perspective, just like, yeah, I'm just happy.
Fantastic. Darius, what are your Jodi? Brilliant. Darius, what's your initial thoughts? We just want to hear how you're feeling, Spurs fans. Do you know what I mean? Darius, just let it rip. I'm sure a lot of people are feeling the same way.
I'm feeling very happy right now. I think we all, when that first James Ward-Prowse free kick went for them in the first 2 minutes, I was thinking, no, not the same old again. And they did, have a few chances. I was thinking Gineppo against Emerson Royale was looking a little bit suspect sometimes, and he beat him. He put him on the floor. He put that ball in the box, and I was just like, oh no, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed, and we're going to go back to where we were. But this is a different Tottenham Hotspur. I can actually now say that with my chest. We came back. We scored 4. And what's crazy is, one, our best players were probably the 2 worst players on our team, which is crazy to think about. And also that team that we started with was the same team that we started with, almost minus Romero at last season's last game. So we've really not even seen the new Tottenham Hotspur yet. We've just seen an improved Tottenham Hotspur from old. So yeah, Perisic coming on, Bissouma coming on just made me even more excited. I'm so happy, as you can see. I can't stop smiling. Cannot stop smiling.
I can't lie, Darius. I'm with you. I am so gassed right now. And do you know what happened? For me, yesterday I watched the Scum play Crystal Palace, and I had predicted a 1-1 draw, and I just saw them just get this jammy 2-0 win, and then I saw the Fulham result against Liverpool, and I'm like, right, I know the Premier League. We always talk about the Premier League being the best league in the world, tough. And you're always going to get surprises on the first day. But I'm not going to lie to you. I had Liverpool to beat Fulham 5-0. You know what I'm saying? So to see a 2-2 draw, I was devastated. And they could have lost that game. So, and Southampton, let's be real. They're a good team. They play good football. They play a high line. So I'm not going to lie. My heart was beating. And we talked about it in the preview show. I was saying, look, we don't want to let Ward-Prowse on a free kick. He whisked one in early on. And then my brother, Ward-Prowse, goes and does that. I'm not going to lie. I went to my garden and I sat there and got vitamin D for about 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I went and got vitamin D because I was like, what the hell is this crap? But when they equalized and then we went to, Sessegnon getting in on the goal, Dyer getting in, Ben Davis, Sess had a fantastic game.
Yeah.
And you're right, Darius, you know what, Jodi? I wasn't expecting to see the same lineup. I was thinking, raw, that's quite ballsy. That's a bit of a statement where you're saying you're not bringing any new players in, because he literally said he don't think they're ready yet. I was like, yay, what is going on? And then it was a masterclass. Really and truly, if we won 8-1, no one would begrudge us, to be honest with you. I think we were all over them. I guess for me, the one thing I'm really excited about is sometimes it's so good for us not to follow too many things on Twitter and not to follow what the papers say. Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans, Man United fans were coming out with this bull crap. Is Kulusevski and Bentancur, was it just a end of season kind of high? Can they do it again? And literally, Literally, in 20 minutes, Kulusevski told us what time it really is. He's not left the building. He is the real dollar bill. So for me, big up Kuli. You are the real deal. Thank you for allowing us. We knew it, but thanks for cementing it. Because, you know, I talked about him having more goal contributions than Diaz. And dare I say it, he's already ahead. But Jodi, you know, looking at the game, you know, were you happy with the way that we set up? Were there any particular instances where actually you were feeling a bit worried? You know, Emerson started over, you know, did that cool, you know,
yeah. I know, I'm looking at Craig's comment there, and I have to agree. Towards the end of the match, I think I agree with you there, Craig. I saw Darius on Twitter. I think you were you were too happy with Emerson in the front of the match there, and I have to admit, when I saw the starting lineup, I also was very worried, because for me, I've always said from the start that I always thought that Matt Doherty would start ahead of Emerson. So yeah, it did scare me a little bit when I saw him start. I don't think he had the greatest game initially, but I do think he did come into the game at the end there, and obviously towards the end, you know, he got that, he helped ensure that own goal, I guess. He had a really good play there. So yeah, it's really difficult with Emerson. I know he's got a lot of haters out there. I don't want to. I don't want to go down that bandwagon. I think we got to give the guy a chance. He's obviously in the team now. We don't have many options, so I don't know.
Fair play. And to be fair to him, that was one of his better games. You know, one of the things I did see with Emerson is he was trying to get forward, even if he can't run through. He was trying to get forward. So, you know, Darius, you know, you're someone who's big on this. You know, from your perspective, did Conte deliver? Was it a masterclass from Conte, or was it just, you know, or did we just get it over the line? I guess that's the question.
Before I do answer that question, I do want to say, like, hello to Craig and anybody else who is, you know, with us in the comment section. Please do comment. Please do let us know how you felt about the game. Like this video, subscribe to Paxton Road. This is a first of many amazing Deji Arsenal Slayer reviews that we're gonna have, because, you know, we have the brand new host who has the most energy for the opposition as well. So please, guys, make sure that you do subscribe and let you know. I'm just letting you guys know this is how it's going to be. We're going to have a brand new setup for the review shows. Deji's taken over, and he's definitely going to make sure that Paxton, you know, goes to the moon. So I'm excited. And just on Conte, I mean, Conte, he was, like you said, I think you mentioned it just before we came on, he was cool as a cucumber. And maybe I should have been a little bit more like Conte, because we all saw the lineups. Even people were disputing the lineups before, saying Perisic was starting, and then he comes out and it's the same lineup. I think everybody was like, oh, it's going to be the same. And then you see the free. Everybody just thought, you know, as the game went on, it's going to be the same. However, it was the reaction that made me smile the most. We got 2 goals in the first half. And then we never dropped that level. The energy levels, you can see that preseason has really done us a good favor. Definitely. And now we are keeping that high level all game, and we are bringing on quality off the bench all game to sustain it. So Conte, I think Conte knew that even if we go down a goal now, he can look at the bench and change it, but he had faith and he had trust in that team to turn it around, and that was very obvious to me. So I think you need to look at Conte's demeanor before we get, you know, a little bit excited and a little bit, you know, worried. He wasn't worried. He wasn't animated. He was calm, and he knew what Tottenham were gonna do. And this is his new Spurs. So yeah, I was as soon as I knew he was calm, I was calm.
I agree. You know what? I have to say, I'm gonna be brutally honest. There was a moment when that goal went in that I reverted back into my old ways. And all I can say, Conte, apology. Who am I? What? My opinion doesn't matter. My opinion doesn't count after that performance, because Conte just did there for me. It was just a masterclass. And I think you said it. Towards the end of the game, he made 4 substitutions straight away. He brought on Longley. He brought on Basuma. You know, and you're just looking at the bench and you're thinking, blood fire! Like, I don't see any weaknesses on the bench. And dare I say, let's put some respect on his name, because I know over the time, I've not respected him. But bloody hell, Ben Davies.
Yeah.
How are you?
Wow.
How is Longley going to get?
See,
How's he going to start ahead of Davis? I personally, my man was rock solid. Ben Davies is a different player. The whole team is just different. And
let's talk about Seth, Deji.
Jodi,
The
what
guy,
a great
like
person to mention, man.
showing, you know, Perisic who he is and what he can do. Like, he's like, I don't want you to start ahead of me. Like, this is me. I'm gonna be starting every single game.
Did you
honestly,
see the finish that he
Same.
pulled off at the start of the second half?
it was
Yeah.
sick, man.
On his right foot. That's like Perisic. Perisic
That's
is teaching him
crazy.
how to use that right foot, you know.
It's mad. And I think for me, the only thing that I would say that was kind of off for me, and I kind of agree with the comment here from Ireland. I just would like us to be a bit more ruthless and a bit more clever in the finishing. Do you know what I'm saying? I still think, even though we won 4-1 and it was a good result, when you look at the game and you really dissect it, we really could have had 8 goals, legitimate. I mean, there were a couple of times Son really should have put in Kane. Do you know what I mean? And there was that solo effort in the first half, and he knocks it over the bar, and Kane's literally shining like blood. Why didn't you give me the ball? Do you know what I mean? And then there was another one where you're thinking that they should have just shot it early, just have an early shot. Again, I think it was Son, but
Son,
I think that will come. Maybe that was early game season jitters. But the one thing I did notice, and I don't know if you guys noticed, sometimes you're bringing on players to kind of, you've noticed that players are tired. When you watch the Crystal Palace game, Arsenal game yesterday, Jesus, man, he was flat out. I mean, my guy looked like he done. We ain't going to see him for 3 or 4 days. You know what I'm saying? He's going there in that ice bath. But I'm looking at our team at 4-1, and I said to myself when he was making the 4 changes, Conte doesn't even need to bring on. He don't actually need to check. These guys look good.
They weren't tired at all. Yeah.
So, Jodi, South Korea, are you seeing the fruits of the labor, as it were?
Yeah, I think so. Guys didn't look tired at all. I think they were just, the pace for me as well. Like starting out, like it's such a difference from last season. Just watching the pace on these guys and just the decision making, and I just got so excited seeing this. Like I can't lie. I'm just very happy to see what Conte's had, having a preseason with these guys and being able to do what he does best, has really shown me that, he can get the best out of these guys. So I'm very excited for the season. Might join you in that. No, I'm not going to join you in that one, Deji, on the, we're going to win the league. Not just yet.
I mean, like I said, let me see what happens next week against that team that beat us 4 times last season.
We'll see.
That's a big one.
I will say this, though. Even though you've been hearing it first on Paxton Road, you heard it on Paxton Road, everyone, that we talked about the Premier League or the Champions League. It was refreshing to hear from Conte the same thing, because the journalist literally said, Spurs fans are talking, and Spurs fans are, apart from the Spurs fans on Paxton Road, most Spurs fans are saying, it'd be good to get a trophy and finish 4th. And Conte was like, bruv, why not Champions League? Why not Premier? I said, thank you for vindicating us. Thank you. Because, we got to go. We got to think big. We got to go for broke. And that team is a sexy-looking Tottenham team. But look, Darius, can we just go into the stats? Because I think it would be unjust. Let's just see how dominant.
Let's bring it up. I think people can see it from there, but if not, we can. I'll just read them out. So if people can't read it, so Spurs 57.5% possession to Southampton's 42.5. We had 18 shots to Southampton's 9, 8 of them on target for Southampton's 2. 729 touches for us, 550 passes, 24 tackles, 19 clearances, 10 corners, 2 offsides, 3 yellow cards, and 11 fouls. So, to be fair with you, pretty dominant display, I would say, Deji.
Do you know what? And dare I say, I don't have the stats of the last game before me, but I do remember looking at the stats, and we had less possession. And it was something that kind of burned me, because, towards the kind of latter end of last season, there were games like this where we were playing and we might sneak the victory, but But one of the things that I wasn't too happy with personally is that we're always sitting low. We're always sitting back and trying to do the counter. Today, it felt like from the off, really, apart from the goal, we were pretty much on the front foot, I think. I don't know if you all agree. And the stats kind of prove that. I mean, the fact that, you know, Southampton only had 9 shots, 2 on target. You know, it was a pretty quiet day at the back for Loris, and I felt that there again, you know, I'm always criticizing Dyer, but I thought he did.
He got a goal.
That was a really good header as well, wasn't
He broke the drought.
Somehow, really good header.
Yeah.
So
Broke the drought.
He broke the drought. It's looking good. We're firing. It looks like we're firing all cylinders. Darius, I need to come to you. What needs to happen now? Because for me, what we don't want is a situation where, you know, we've won the first game, great. You know what I mean? What needs to happen now for us to be fully convinced that the tide has turned? Because I know there are still some Spurs fans in the chat worldwide that despite winning convincingly 4-1, Jodi, they're still sitting in their living room and they're still scared as shit, to be honest with you. They're still jittering. So we want to know.
Can you blame them though, Deji? Can you blame them?
It's Spurs,
Can you blame them? I mean, I do want to look at it and think, yeah, it's all rosy, it's perfect. But we do look at the game and we didn't start the fastest and we conceded. And, you know, you put us up against a team like Manchester City, potentially Liverpool, even Arsenal, the way that they played in the first 30 minutes of that game. And you could find yourself 3 goals down before you know it. So I want to see a bit of a quicker start from Spurs just because, again, the better teams will punish you. Again, I think with Arsenal, again, I hate to mention them again, but you can see that they really were lucky that Crystal Palace didn't have a clinical striker because I think they really dropped off, like you said, Deji, whereas we kept that motion and that tempo up. So that is a positive. Emerson was good. Don't get me wrong. Everybody in the comments, Craig, I see you. I know he was good. His stats were probably very good. I think he did put in a good performance. However, for the level that we want to be at, for me, Emerson can't be a starter. And I don't know if Conte trusts Spence, which makes me think going and getting getting somebody who's like experienced. I don't know, like, because I see Doherty is good enough, but again, not a starter, and Emerson is good enough, but not a starter. So for me, I would rather cut my ties with one of those players and get an experienced right back who's similar to Perisic in that style, who can sort of guide Spence the way that it seems like he's already guiding Sessegnon, because Sessegnon has already improved. Just from this game, I can see that the influence of Perisic is obvious. So I think one of those right backs, I'm not too sure we need 3 of them, and I think to replace one of them for more experienced right back who can at least when the tide is going a team's way, just settle the ship, I think, because Emerson, again, makes me a little bit nervous in defense sometimes.
Jodi, just before I bring you in, I was just going to say that for me personally, and I don't know why, I have no specific logic. I'm just going to put it out there. But I just feel like I'm someone that likes to feel the atmosphere. Me, I actually prefer Emerson to Doherty. I know, I've had Doherty, I've had his number from day dot. And dare I say, he came on for the last 5 minutes, and I asked 2 questions when I saw him come on. The first was, he looks knackered. Yeah, because literally he made 1 run and then balls were going past him. And did you notice that actually in the last 5 minutes of the game when Doherty came on, that's when Southampton actually got back into our box from that side. The second thing was Southampton almost had a shot on goal, and it came again from Doherty. So for me personally, I do not want to see Doherty in the back. I did have this weird kind of thing when I was dreaming about the game last night, thinking, especially with this Udinese player, looks like we might be getting him.
Yeah, I mean, personal terms agreed now. It's just whether he goes back on loan. I think it's almost done, but it's just whether he goes back on loan or not.
But, and that's a good point. But one thing I've noticed about Perisic is that he is both-footed. Is it plausible that he could play Perisic as a right wing-back and have Cess left? I'll take that, to be honest, because Perisic needs to start and Cess needs to start. And I think it's a slightly damning indictment on Spence. I know he's got time. The fact that he didn't come on today, do you know what I mean? But Jodi, what are your thoughts in terms of the kind of wing-back positions.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see that actually, the Perisic on the right thing. I haven't really thought about that before, so maybe that could be an option. Obviously for me, Spencer's, definitely raw, like got great potential. I think he could do great things for us, but I just don't think he's ready for for what we're doing at the moment. So, and then it just leaves, Emerson and Doherty. And I think personally for me, I think Doherty has shown and proved that from my perspective and my opinion that he's better on the right than Emerson. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to, time will tell. And I honestly think that is definitely our most weakest position, along with probably the back line. I think I've said before, like we definitely need another centre back. So hopefully we might see some movement in that area in the defense before the signings are over, but we'll see.
I think Conte will push for more signings as well. I think he will look at that
Mm,
and say, look, we're doing well. We've got a good squad. But for me, why do we need to go and get, if we've let Joe Rodon go or let him go on loan, why are we going to get a young centre back in? For me, I would get a centre back in that can compete with Dyer, and that will maybe elevate Dyer's game, because going and getting a young centre back who you're going to nurture, I just don't see the point when Rodon was there. And I know Rodon's not good enough, but it just seems like silly for me. So I say you go and spend a little bit more money, go and get a centre back, because you haven't got your left centre back in this season. You're looking obviously next season to get him in. Spend a bit more money on a centre back this summer, bring in a good quality centre back in, get an attacking midfielder in who can, change it up a little bit when we do have to either chase games or, maybe change something up in the game. And then I think really and truly that team you might be able to even skip January this summer, season and get away with it if you get a centre back and attacking midfielder in. But I feel like if we don't get a centre back or attacking midfielder in, we're going to be shopping in January, because players are going to get injured, World Cup's going to happen, and
that's exactly
it's going to look very different. So I think it's only 2 more signings from a really, really, really good squad. Because again, Bissouma coming off the bench, Perisic coming off the bench. I mean, the quality levels. It's not Winks anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's different
levels now. The game is levels now.
The game is levels, and the audacity of the scum to even suggest that their signings are as good as our signings, so it's much of a muchness. No way! I looked at the Arsenal game yesterday, and I looked at our team today, and I'm gonna say, we've been saying it, and it was confirmed today. We beat the scum home and away. We beat them at home and away. There is no way Arsenal are getting any points from Tottenham Hotspur this season. No way. But look, we are about to see Chelsea take on Everton. Kickoff is
just kicked off. Just kicked off. Yeah, just kicked off.
Would you say, and these are the final thoughts as we go into next week as we prepare, is this the right time to play Chelsea with the sort of kind of pre-season they've had? New players coming in. They don't really have a striker. Personally, I'm thinking if you want to play Chelsea, second game of the season is probably about right to get that 3 points. What we don't want is Chelsea settled and embedded. Do you know what I mean? And then they're flying, and then we got to play them. Although Conte did say towards the end of last season that if we were to play Chelsea now, and that was then, he reckons we'd give them a run for their money, not like the games we had where we got spanked 4-0. But Jodi, I'm coming to you on your final thoughts. Chelsea next week, is this the right time to play them?
1000%. Yeah, definitely. I think it was the same with when we had Man City last season. You got to get them when they're still coming back. They haven't fully prepared. Like you said, they haven't got a striker. Their team is pretty abysmal, I think, at the moment. So yeah, if we could ever get Chelsea, we know that they're our dangerous team. Like last season, they beat us 4 matches or something, I think.
Four times last season.
4 times they beat
Horrible.
us. So yeah, let's do it. Let's get it out of the way while they're not prepared. They're not kind of even confident in themselves, because I've spoken to a lot of Chelsea supporters and they're just not even confident about their team themselves. So let's get it out of the way and see what happens. Hopefully we can smash them 4-0.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Darius, your thoughts for the Chelsea game, looking ahead?
You saw me rub my hands. I feel like I'm not underestimating Chelsea. In fact, you know what? People can see that I have receipts and a track record of saying that people are actually sleeping on Chelsea this season, especially with this Cucurella deal. I feel like Cucurella and Reece James is a very, very, very good fullback partnership. Sterling, as much as I don't rate Sterling, will, improve on Timo Werner. Koulibaly's a very, very, very good defender, very good centre-back. So
he's probably what we needed, isn't it, Koulibaly?
He would have been amazing.
Yeah.
He would have been amazing to compete with Dyer. Maybe only for like a couple years. And you look at maybe getting a young centre-back in to take over from them in a couple of years. But he's the same age as Van Dijk. So for a centre-back, he's not that old. I'd have loved Koulibaly at Spurs. But Chelsea got him. They did well to get him. But you look at their back three that they've started today, and it's Thiago Silva, Azpilicueta, and Koulibaly. And that's like, I think, a combined age of like 90 odd, maybe even pushing 100. So
maybe even 1,000, them ones there.
So I'm just thinking if Richarlison's on the pitch and we can really even if he's not on the pitch to start with, but if we can utilize pace in that game, which makes me want to see, maybe potentially Spence get some minutes in that game, Basuma start the game. If we can really utilize pace against that back three, they'll be intelligent, but I think Kane has got that same intelligence where he'll be able to compete against the likes of Thiago Silva and Koulibaly. And if we can blitz them with pace, I think they're going to struggle against us. And I really do think it's the best time to play Chelsea. I think we can definitely get a win. It won't be an easy game. We'll struggle because, track record, 4 games this season can do well. But like you said, your question was, is it the best time? And what are my thoughts on it? I actually think we can beat Chelsea. I'm pretty sure it's at Stamford Bridge, right? Or is it? Are we home?
We are away. Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be hard. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we are 100% gonna do it, but we can definitely beat that team. Again, going to watch them against is it Everton they're playing today?
Yeah.
Going to watch them against Everton now. It'll be interesting to see. I expect them to kind of batter Everton, to be honest with you. Yeah. Everton have got no strikers whatsoever. I think they're going to start Rondon, if I'm not mistaken. So, it's not looking good for Everton. So, I think they'll come in with confidence. But after today, Deji, again, like Jodi said, I'm not there yet, but Spurs are different. That's my takeaway. Spurs are different.
I mean, I'm looking at Gunner King in the chat coming up with his eyes and his nonsense. And for me, just Gunner King, just settle yourself, because you got a little jammy little victory against Crystal Palace yesterday. Look, I agree. And one of the strangest things for me from today's game, which is why I agree with you, Jodi, and I agree with Darius, is the fact that we look quicker than Southampton. We look like we have more pace than them, and yet they've got a lot of pacey guys in their attack line. Look, I agree with you. I think it's the right time to play Chelsea. We're going to have all of our players available. I think maybe for that sort of game in the midfield, maybe Basuma starts. I don't know. I just have this
Basuma
thing.
Should start. He dominated them in the last games for Brighton. Oh, he should start for me.
But I think after today's game, boy, Kulu, Kane, Son. I talked about the trio being the best in the Premier League. I said the quartet with Richarlison is the best in world football. I think after today's, you know why? I said that before today's game. If Kulu carries on the way that he played today, then it's a legit argument to say that Tottenham's front four is the best.
I had Kulusevski for Young Player of the Year this season. I don't know if he actually is eligible because he might be 22 before, but he's
amazing.
He's amazing. I think he actually is eligible for it. So, but he did multiple things today that was like top quality. And again, is it a goal and assist? I mean, can't go wrong with that.
And I think we might have been getting it wrong, peeps. We keep talking about Richarlison coming in to replace Kulu. I think Richarlison comes in to replace Son or Kane.
Yeah, if Son has a game like this,
Yeah. You bring him on, he does what he needs to do, and bang, and competition for places. Look, I agree. I think Spurs will go to Chelsea and get a result. We're not getting too carried away. We're not doing this one game and then Tottenham are on cloud 9. No, we're not doing that. No. But what we have seen today with the Spurs lineup is that there has been an amazing shift in the squad. And dare I say, I never look forward to playing Chelsea, but I'm already looking forward to the next game. And, Sid put a comment in there.
Look at him there before Sid. Before Sid is there. Look at that. He says Saka's winning that. You know what? I can't wait for these Saka Kulusevski debates this season. It's going to be very, very funny.
Travis, just pull it
Hope
out
to
now.
see these Twitter
You
spaces
say it
when
first
came back
before
in
I
the
say
day.
it. You say it first before I say it.
There's no chance. Kulusevski, I think Kulusevski's miles. Let me not be disrespectful. He's better than Saka, but he's not miles. Saka's good, but Kulusevski, there's levels to it, man. Saka, you need to worry about his performances.
Saka is good. Kulusevski is world class. He's what? No, I'll put it out there. I don't give a damn.
See, this is a new reaction show, guys.
My team than Saka. Look, we were talking about Kulu up against Diaz. You don't chat about Saka up against Diaz because he ain't giving that sort of output.
It's true.
That's just true. So let's just put some respect on Kulu's name, please.
I agree. And when I put someone in my fantasy team, I do it because I know, and he got me points today. So
yeah, Jodi's queen of
Kulu,
fantasy,
man, Kulu.
So look,
I don't do it lightly.
I guess look now we are literally dead on half an hour. 65 people on the show and more counting. Final thoughts now. 1 minute for the fact. 1 minute for everyone out there. Tottenham, first game of the season, 4-1. We spanked Southampton. Last thoughts, Jodi.
Yeah, I just think keep going, guys. Yeah, let's just keep the momentum. I don't want to see no win loss like we saw last year. I think we just need to keep those wins coming, keep those W's coming in. I got my rating show tomorrow, so I really want to give some high ratings to all the players for the rest of this season. So yeah, let's just keep the high scores coming, keep the goals coming, and like come on you Spurs for me, really.
I'm very excited. I was excited before the season started. I didn't want to get overexcited, but when you see a performance like that and you see, resistance and resilience and a different Spurs, I think the subs coming on and just, everybody playing well. Everybody played well. Yeah. And even the players that didn't play well, like I said, maybe Kane and Son were probably the two worst players on the pitch, but it wasn't that they played terribly. They just, everybody's level is so high at the moment. So yeah, this competition is amazing. And Conte is completely amazing. Like it's all in his hands. Like I said, I'm just in this seatbelt jacked ride, waiting to go, and we'll see what happens. But Chelsea is the next game, so we do have to be, like Gunnar King said, we've won once in a long time. I don't even want to say how long it is because it's embarrassing. So if we beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, that will show me that we're serious.
Yeah, 100%.
That's true.
For me, I just want to say, because we've got reliable sources that have informed us that the Spurs players watch Paxton Road. Players, thank you. Thank you for making our day. Thank you for bringing home the 3 points on the first game of the season, because there's nothing worse than not winning your first game. Thank you, Kulu, for showing that you're a class act and that the last season was not no fluke. Thank you, Conte, for being the real bloody deal. Thank you. Look, I look forward to the Chelsea game. It's a pleasure to start the week next week with the 3 points. And for the Arsenal fans in the chat who are doing this little trolling thing, Gunnar King, Kulu is good, but neither better than Saka, all world class. Stay in your lane, bro. Stay in your lane. Your team is dead food. Yeah. You got dead people like Ben White. Imagine Ben White trying to stop Son. Or Richarlison. Anyway, we'll come back to that in a few weeks' time. But yeah, we'll see who's who in the next couple of weeks. Spurs faithful, look, we're not going to keep you here too long. Go and enjoy. Have a pint on us. Have a drink on us. And enjoy the 3 points.
Like this video as well, because this is the new review show. Deji Spurs, the main man now.
AKA Arsenal Slayer. Thank you very much.
Arsenal Slayer, I love it.
Enjoy your weekends. Thank you. Bye-bye.